lost out on a pretty chunk of change.
I like this paint.
Only buy what you can use.
These are jokes about my fiancé to my fiancé.
Welcome back. We are so excited to do our monologue / stand-up comedy screening. Right now, just take a moment and share this stream with someone that you love or someone that you hate. I don't care, because I just want to showcase all the amazing talent in this city. This is an awesome screening. I was a little nervous when I called out for monologues, and boy, did we have some really heavy hitters in this group here. So buckle up. At the end of this show, there is an audience choice voting. So find out which one you think is your favorite, or ones. You can vote for multiple ones. And tonight, after the short film showcase, we will be presenting the winner of audience choice from each of these blocks. So without further ado, I'll just do a quick round of thank yous that I'll rattle through, just in case you weren't here from the last stream. We have a bunch of amazing prize sponsors that were in that opening as we waited, but the real people who helped make this possible were Sasha Duncan, who's been a partner in crime on this project, and I'm incredibly grateful for the amount of loads of work that she's done. Ben Gammon, who has done so many of the cool graphics and video stuff tonight. I'm forever grateful. Caffrey Duncan, who did amazing layouts like the box I'm in right now, and Annie, who's running the tech behind the booth here while I'm on camera. And then lastly, I just want to thank the people who've put money where their mouth is. This idea was such a half-baked, last-minute idea as I was dealing with the despair of the quarantine that was approaching, and I definitely didn't think it all out, how we were going to financially be able to do all of this, but luckily some people really stepped up. So David Abisafi with Generativity Productions is sponsoring the Audience Choice Award tonight, all of the Audience Choice Awards tonight. He's giving you cash. YVR Screen Scenes, which is an awesome podcast that you should all subscribe to. It has some of the best people in Vancouver film interviewed, including myself, no bigs. And the Downtown Vancouver Business Improvement Association. They just found us on the internet and wanted to support, and I'm forever grateful for them. So without further ado, we got an amazing show. I think we have 15 or 16 original monologues and stand-up comedy routines. And then after this show, we have our final showcase for the night, the short film showcase, where we have, I think, 25 films that are all ranging from 1 minute long to 5 minutes long. But today's screening that we have right now, there are no screenings, there are no monologues that are shorter than, take two. There are no monologues that are longer than 3 minutes. So even if you're not totally loving a project, hold on to this stream because it's gonna be over soon. So without further ado, let's start the Monologues Slam. Let's do this. Start the show.
Hi, my name is Rayne Carson. I'm with Premier Talent. I'm 5'9", and I'm going to be auditioning for the part of Watto.
Hey, I want work, okay? What do you think you are? A Jedi? Waving your hands in the air like that. I'm a Jordanian. Magic don't work on me, huh?
I'm not saying I'm happy about it. Who would want to live in a world where you can't hug your daughters or share an ice cream cone with your wife 20 years? Did I want this to happen? Of course not, but I'd be lying if I said there weren't any silver linings. See, I've been a member of the SPPTS, or the Super Prepared Professional Traveler Society, for a strong 10 years. The idea came to me after my wife and I booked a flight to Hawaii, and we were foolish enough to skip on the flexible fare option. When we had an emergency come up, the airline refused to refund our ticket, and we lost out on a pretty chunk of change. I vowed from that day on that I would purchase extra coverage every chance I got. It's also when the harassment began. At dinner parties, when our guests would ask about our vacation destinations and whether we got any deals, my wife would always make some sort of snide comment like they would have been cheaper if Dave didn't insist on getting extra coverage. So yeah, you could say I was getting sick of it. When the coronavirus sent millions of people frenzying to cancel their tickets, I couldn't help but feeling maybe there's a higher power. What's that, Brian? You didn't get a flexible fare option on your trip to Italy? Guess that's the last time you'll be yucking it up over my delicious eggplant parmesan. There's a certain satisfaction I get from watching my loved ones suffer. It feels good to be right. I can take my trip whenever I want, be that in 1, 2, or 10 years when the world has done its cleanse. By that time, I imagine my asthmatic wife will be long gone, and my children will have quarantined so deep into depression, they won't know what hit them. As for me, I'll be partying it up on the beaches of Florida with a generation much younger than me. I'm not saying I had anything to do with creating the virus. I'm just saying, I ain't mad. And who knows, maybe I did. Add that to your list of conspiracy theories.
My name is Cody Peterson, and these are jokes about my fiancé to my fiancé. I don't want to talk about quarantine too much, because who gives a shit? But it was kind of hard the first couple of days with my fiancé and I, just because we're kind of like not used to each other, being around each other all the time, kind of butting heads a bit. And then she was like, just one day out of the blue, she was like, how about we get a gun? I'm like, you want to bring a gun into the mix? Shit. One of us will die. But no, we're getting married in October. And as our wedding day gets closer, the more we talk about what kind of parents we want to be. She's like really safety orientated, just like doesn't want her kids getting like concussions or playing football. And I'm like, I just want to be a cool dad, you know? Dress my kid up in cool clothes. So we're at the park and people will be like, damn, does your kid really listen to the Misfits? Then I could be like, no, hate him, stupid poser baby. Yeah, the kid's gonna be a poser. I'll be like, he doesn't even skate, but he shits in Thrasher magazines. You know? What if, like, the baby got out of control and just became a huge poser? And I just had to yell at him and be like, stop carrying that empty guitar case. Stop saying you're C's with B's. You're not a blood. Punk-ass poser baby. But, we've been talking about baby names. She has some crazy ideas for baby names. If it's a girl, she wants to name it Hermione. You're looking at me like that's a great idea, but people have booed me.
It's a great name.
Please be quiet. You know, and for guy names, she wants to name her a baby, like if it's a boy, she wants to name it Al Qaeda. I'm like, wow, the terrorist organization? That's awful. You want to keep that kid out of football? That's a great name.
Terrible.
My name is Cody Peterson. Thank you.
Hello, Claire. They're already in the building, so I need to be quick. I love you, Claire. I just really needed you to know that, to finally know that. I know you only ever wanted me as a friend, but still, I love you, And I was a good friend, right? I mean, when you told me that you wanted to go out with Roy and you broke my heart into a million pieces, I was happy for you all the same. And when Roy disappeared without a trace, who stood by you then? I did. Okay? And who believed you when you said that you thought foul play was involved? Me. Of course, I dissuaded you from going to the police because I knew they wouldn't find anything and I didn't want you to look like an idiot. But I would have traveled to the end of the world and back with you looking for him because I loved you. I was putting in a lot of effort into our relationship. So of course I was gutted when you told me that you wanted to marry Hank. Hank. Of all people. That fucking douchebag. But you said that he was your soulmate, that he grounded you, that he provided balance to your life. But that was my job. Mine! I didn't intend to do what I did. It wasn't murder, because murder is premeditated, and there was no premeditation here. Hell, I didn't even know there was an iron bar in that room until I bashed your head in with it. But I was doing it for you. I didn't want you to make a horrible mistake with Hank. Full disclosure, I used that same metal bar to bash Hank's head in later on. Sorry about that. Oh, the police are here. I gotta go. I love you, Claire. I always will. Bye.
Get on your knees!
Hey, sweetie, I'm so glad we got this Skype thing figured out. Listen, there's something I've been thinking about, and I guess really dreaming. It's probably because all the books I've been reading, or maybe the movies, but I mean, why not, right? There's still some spark left in this engine, right? I mean, you girls have to realize that 60 isn't too old to maybe want some more human comfort. And I'm sure somewhere out there is a sweet little old man who's just looking for someone like me to share some comfort with too. And so anyways, I've been thinking there's all these dating websites out there, right? And I've heard of one that I think just might be perfect for me. And it's called Grindr. And it would be, what? No, what do you mean Grindr is for gay people? It's to do with cooking. Well, grinder, pepper grinders and salt grinders and geez, there's even spice grinders and nut grinders and coffee grinders. Like, grinders are popular in cooking. Are you sure? Wow. Okay. Huh. Well, maybe 60 is too old to think about dating again, and I've got lots of books and movies I like to watch and read, and I can Skype with you guys, and yeah, okay. I'm glad I talked to you, sweetie. And yeah, but why did they call it Grindr?
Hello, Peter. This is your favorite and only child, Alana, reporting directly to you from Basement Town, population 1, as always, and I'm signing on to wish you a very happy birthday. So if you could please take the time to listen to a little rhyme. 75 years young, with so many stories still left unsung. Your wit is infamously known across the globe, as is your favorite pink-flowered bathrobe. You're my best friend and my #1 fan, and you'll always be my absolute favorite mailman. I hope you're having a great birthday, Dad. I hope you're being spoiled silly with cake and whiskey than women. I expect a photo of you stark naked with a pink party hat. No excuses. That's weird, but I wish I could be there to celebrate with you. But you know, life is going down here in the ground. I've been busy cooking. I tried Mom's stew recipe, actually, and it turned out terribly. So I think I got it right. And I've got a new Latin quote for you, as per our tradition. Mea navis, ericumbens, anguiles abundant. My hovercraft is full of eels. Your turn. Love you lots. Thinking about you. I'd love it if you'd send another video soon. Miss hearing your voice. Yeah. Stay strong for me, Dad. Talk to you soon, okay? Love you. Bye. Sorry, that was a video for David Nuka, room 311. I talked to Francis. She said to email it here and someone would show it to him. I'm his daughter, Alana. He doesn't usually remember me, but maybe he'll have a good day. Thank you all so much for taking such good care of him. Sorry, thanks.
There's this moment, usually in your 20s, maybe in your 30s if your head's a little further up your own ass. This crazy paradigm shifting moment when you realize for the first time that your parents are humans, that they're their own people. Like, they're adults. They're not just your parents, not just your support system. And it's bizarre because they've been their own people this whole time. All these years, right under your nose. It's shocking. It's embarrassing. You feel bad for being an ungrateful little shit. For taking them for granted. Taking their home for granted. Taking their food for granted. And if you're bold enough, you'll apologise. One night after dinner and wine, you'll look your father directly in the eye and say, I'm sorry. And you'll explain that you were trapped in some hormone-induced fog of self-absorption, and you'll ask him questions about his life. Because for the first time, even though you've loved him with all your heart your entire life, you really care and you want to get to know him. He'll tell a crazy story about a university trip involving a VW Beetle and makeshift beds in a sheep pen. And you laugh from your belly at the thought of your dad back when he was skinny, hitching a ride with a stranger to go sleep in a stable. Not quite Jesus, but close enough. And as you process these details of your parents that you've learnt over the years, you have another moment. And this one's maybe more intense than the first. As you think about these tales of alleyway jazz clubs and building ski lodges with friends, you realise they weren't just cool. They were cooler than you. These people that you've always loved but never really appreciated were cool as hell. In fact, maybe even now they're cooler than you. And you think, well, that's my punishment. That's what I deserve for not really ever seeing you. So that night, as you say goodnight, you hug your father just a little bit tighter. Hold him just a little bit longer. Because, truthfully now, you love him a little bit deeper.
You don't always know a conversation is going to be the last conversation when you're in it. You can try and plan to have a last conversation, but the last conversation, you don't always get to know what's coming. Last conversation I ever had with my dad was about tickets. Kings of Leon or an Olympic hockey game. They were on either side of his birthday. And he got to pick. He hummed and hawed. Loved Kings of Leon, but couldn't say no to an Olympic hockey game. We went on our hike up the mountain that day. And he never came back down. Before and after moments. There's before and there's after, and your life is unrecognizable on either side. You can't even fathom what life was like before. It was before he died, and after. I'm thankful as shit that our last conversation went the way it did. But he also told me a story when I was a kid that you could talk to people in stars. And after they'd passed on, you could pick a star, pick a person, and know that they could hear you on the other side of that star shining back. You didn't get to hear what they had to say. You got to know they heard you. So I've had lots of last conversations with my dad. And I'd kill just about anybody to have one more. I hope you like it. Hope you aren't disappointed in me. I hope you're happy.
When I was a kid, me and my brothers, Christmas Day, we'd snuck down to the beach like we always did. And I was sitting on the sand, and I'm looking out at him, and he starts waving his arms like this. But he was always making jokes, you know. He used to do this thing where he'd swim underwater, and I'd lose him, so I'd start to panic. And he'd swim up underneath, and he'd grab my ankle like a shark. Anyway, so I'm sitting on the beach, and I'm looking out over him. He's waving, and then he goes under, and I lose him for a minute. And another minute goes by, and when I get out to him, he can barely keep his head above water. So I grab him, and I pull him up, and I say, listen, we're in a rip, we've got to swim across it. But he won't listen to me. He puts his arms right around me, and so I can't swim, and we start to go under, just for a couple of seconds at first. And then longer and longer, and I'm convinced by this point that we're gonna drown. And so I finally get him up to the top of the water, and I look at him to tell him, I look at him, but it's not my brother looking back at me. Everything that made him had already gone. It was just this scared, beaten animal looking back at me. So I had to let him go. And watching him slip away, that was so lonely.
I was in the library and the librarian was screaming at us, which was kind of scary, but it was also kind of funny because she's this like mom, she looks like a mom. She closed the door and I had this feeling, and then she locked the door, she locked the door, and it was kind of scary. I've never been in the library while the doors was locked before. It was serious. And then you could tell she had no idea what she wanted to do. You could tell she wanted to just go into her office and hide, but she looked at us and she stopped. I wanted to say, go, run into your office. The guys who usually do this shoot kids, not librarians, run, I wanted to say, but I never did, and she never heard it, and she went and sat beside this kid with special needs. She sat beside him and she held his hand and she just talked to him real slow, you know? She's cool. I never thought about it before, but she is. I wanted to say good job or something stupid like that, but I didn't. That's when the guy under the table pulled on my shorts. At first I thought he was trying to pants me, you know, and I got pissed, but that's not what he was trying to do. He was just trying to get me to look under, to see him, to get under with him. He had pushed a couple of the chairs together and made it look like no one was under there. We were close, you know, which was strange because I didn't know him, but we had a couple of classes together, but I couldn't really remember his name. To be honest, I don't even think I ever knew his name, but there we were under this stupid table, too close, trying not to listen to the sounds outside the hall. Trying not to think. Trying not to feel. You know, what was weird was I was staring at this guy. There's this kid that I don't know, and I'm looking into his eyes, and he's looking into mine, and it's like we're best friends, and there's nothing but him and me. And it's like we're friends, and as long as we were together, we can do anything. And as long as we were looking at each other, everything was going to be okay. And this is something we would tell our kids about, and it's something that we tell our friends about. And it's like a secret you share with one person. And tears started falling down his eyes. But he wasn't crying because he wasn't moving and he wasn't really saying anything. He was just tears. And he wasn't shy about them. He wasn't looking away. He was just staring me in the eye, tears falling down his eyes. And it was just him and me. And I just started smiling at him. I don't know where that smile came from, but it just felt so good looking at him, me looking at him, him looking at me. And it's just me and him, and everything just went quiet. Like silence, no sound, like sleeping in a dream. And that's when I died, looking into his eyes, knowing everything was gonna be all right, and that I was safe, and that somebody loved me, and that I loved somebody.
So I was talking to this guy from OkCupid the other day. We were sending each other voice notes back and forth on WhatsApp. He couldn't meet in person because he was too busy working on the front lines. Not that I wanted to meet in person anyways. I mean, voice notes are weird. I reached the end and I didn't know what to do. I panicked and asked him out. I'm texting a guy. I can write and rewrite until I get it perfect. Or what I think is perfect and later realize is completely awful. I say the wrong thing a lot. That's why I'm single. Words are spells, you know. Words are spells that alter timelines. And emojis are wands we wave to change the future. Seriously. One smiley face too many and it's all over. Everything we do changes the world. Every word, every thought, every look, every emotion. Emotions are the big one. Emotions have the power to crumble empires and murder millions. Ideas, forget ideologies. Without fear, anger, grief, disgust, lust for power, no one ever went to war over an idea. It always comes down to the same thing. Need for relief, the belief that we are worthy, that we are good enough, that we are valid, that we are loved. Like, who signs up for a dating app during a global pandemic anyway? Come on. Chill out and focus on yourself for a minute. Mother Nature's orders. But that's not the need. Feed me. Our world runs on greed, consumerism, productivity. Our worth comes from our work, the things we can buy, the partners we acquire, the vacations we can take, the money in the bank. For a while, I thought that if I gave up validation, I could save the world. I quit sugar, flying, buying clothes, sugar, buying new clothes, men, but it didn't work. And me, I still had the need. The world still burned in me. And then I realized I'd gone from everything to nothing, and the answers lie somewhere in between the rest and the work, the need for love and the knowing worth. in between the fight and the release, the suffering and the celebration, the joy and the grief. Where we are now is an overcorrect. There will be no going back to normal. And there will normal was broken back to normal. Equilibrium is what we seek. Equilibrium is what we need.
We enter through the mouth. At least that's what it looks like to me at midnight. These shingled upper lips and a gravel tongue reaching out from the abyss, these half-built homes are practically calling out to us. Soon, garage doors will bar us from entry like steel teeth, but not tonight. No, tonight, like so many nights before, we creep our way inside. Yeah, it's petty trespass, but come on, at 17, half-built homes house so much possibility. The air is humid, thick. It's an East Coast Canadian summer, and it's mixed with sawdust and debris from the inside. Our only light comes radiating from our twin flip phones, me and her, partners in crime, literally in this moment. These are the spaces we foreclose after hours, playing in plywood hallways and leaving our marks with cans of PBR. So many nights spent exploring our minds, our bodies, our souls, all in the sweet innocence of teenage wonderment. Don't touch the insulation. It'll kill you. I'll hide, you seek, in closets and under cupboards, standing at sillless windows, staring out at the streets before us that are unfinished and still in development. So many memories made on these construction sites. But tonight is different. Tiptoeing through an uncertain floor plan builds this fear in me. It's like a haunted house where you know that you're safe, but something lingers in every shadow. Adrenaline rises with every creak. But tonight the anxiety is coming from within. The call is coming from inside the house. And I need to tell you something that I can barely understand myself, but I can't walk around knowing any longer. Walking around on this foundation of lies. And so I tell you, I don't know. The words fall from my mouth, smashing into darkness. I didn't realize saying it out loud would sound so loud, and suddenly I feel very cold and alone and quiet. I stare at the ground. Sawdust piling up, making patterns like I'm reading tea leaves. And they tell me of my uncertain future. And they tell me this story that you're going to run screaming from this haunted house because I showed you my blood and my guts and my gore, but you don't. You just listen, and I let it pour out of me. And for the first time in a long time, I feel at home with you. You've seen my unfinished edges, and you're not mad, you're not scared, you're just there for me. Together, half-built and ready for life.
Don't. Please, I'm begging you. What do you really want from me, huh? Like when this was starting to be a thing, I thought I knew, I thought I knew what you wanted. You wanted me to be better. You wanted to help me get better. You would say it. You would look into me, into my eyes, into my soul, and you would say, good job. And I felt seen. I felt appreciated. I never thought too much about what I wanted to get out of us. I guess I just wanted to make you happy, because when you were happy, you saw me. And I don't need you. I could lose you. I could erase you from my life just as easily as I let you in. I could. I should. But the fucked up thing? I like this pain. I love that my apathy makes you crazy, because for all your posturing about how much good we could do together, it isn't about me at all. It's about you and your fucking ego. It's how well you do with me, not how well we do together. So keep trying. Keep telling me I'm not doing enough, because not doing enough for you is more than enough for me. Yet my capacity to disappoint is something I've cultivated. I put in my 10,000 fucking hours, and I'm telling you, what you want from me, I won't do for you out of spite. Out of petty spite, because I fucking hate you. I hate you so much that I'm gonna keep you here so you can watch me let you down day after day and month after month while you try your pathetic best to make me care about you. So go fuck yourself, Duolingo. I'm not doing French today.
Hi, my name is Keara. I'm 20 years old. I come from Ontario. I've been in Vancouver 3 months now. I came here for film school, which is a little bit ironic because I don't like movies. That's not entirely fair. I do like movies, I just haven't seen a lot of them. Like Star Wars or E.T. or The Lion King. I somehow missed like all of those classic movies. I much prefer watching TV. I like being able to follow characters for years and years, like see them grow and develop over a long period of time. It's almost like having real friends, which is kind of nice. One of the shows that I've binge watched in quarantine these past couple of weeks is Sex Education. For those of you that don't know it, it is a great British dramedy about a high school student who runs an underground sex therapy ring at his high school. It's so good, so funny. 10 out of 10 dentists would recommend. Much better than the sex education I received in Ontario, to be honest. But it's not hard to beat that. One of my favorite things about the show is that it uses a lot of really great quality British slang. You get like those top-notch, posh words. Words like bugger or slag or tea. You just feel the British when you hear them. One of my personal favorite words that they use on the show is the word wanker. It's an awesome word. British people use it like a general insult. They use it like Americans would use the word idiot. But it's really fun for me in Canada, sitting on my couch watching a 40-minute episode where they're talking about wanking and then call each other wankers like it's supposed to be an insult. It's not. At that point, it's just fact. By the end of season 2, you are all wanking, so you are all wankers. Much like many of us here in America stuck in quarantine. One of the other fun things about having watched this show in such a short amount of time is that it's given my inner monologue a British accent. Not a good one. I am not good at accents. I get made fun of for it a lot, actually. My family is all performers, so they can do accents like this. Like, you name a country, they can do the accent for it. My little sister, actually, when she's upset, she doesn't get loud or aggressive. She gets Scottish, which is really fun. So I'll sneak into her room when I'm home and I'll steal her clothes or her makeup and she'll start getting really mad. You can tell that she's getting really mad because she starts rolling her R's. She goes, like sounding like a motorcycle driving down the freeway. And then I'll egg her on because I'm her older sister, right? And she'll just explode. She'll be like, get out of my swamp! And I'll just be like, ooh, I'm sorry, I haven't seen The Lion King. Thanks, guys.
Hi guys, my name is Tarak Kjartanson and I live in Victoria, British Columbia. And I think it's pretty clear by now that we all owe 2019 a bit of an apology, right? If we had any idea what was on the horizon for the new year, yikes. And don't you guys miss hugs? Do you remember how good those were? Yeah, I miss hugs, for sure. The one good thing about coronavirus is that it's done wonders for my FOMO. It's basically cleared that shit right up. But I know it's been really hard on people. I know psychologically it's hard on a lot of us. And I know you miss your Uncle Charles, okay? But I miss karaoke night, okay? It's been hard on everybody, okay, Shannon? Okay? I couldn't get a hold of my pot dealer for 11 days, which is crazy. 11 days to get a hold of my pot dealer. So, we're all suffering together, okay? Can you imagine how bad it would be right now if the liquor stores were closed? It would be like Mad Max shit out there right now. You can't expect people to be left alone with their thoughts for that long, right? That's crazy. So, a lot of times the government seems like they drop the ball, but at least in this circumstance, they recognize that if they want to keep the situation from escalating, they've got to keep Canadians inebriated while they're at home. And online dating apps, woo, they're making money right now. Woo, they're making money. I've never had so many bees in the hive before. But, we can't meet, so we can chat, which, that's great. Because everybody knows that, talking is totally every dude's favorite part of having a relationship, right? Yeah. So if you're lucky enough to be isolating with your partner right now, if you're doing it with your husband, your wife, your romantic partner, if you're with, I hope you guys are fucking like bunny rabbits. I really do. And not even just for yourself, but for everybody out there who is stuck at home by themselves, who has nobody to hang out with, who doesn't even have that option right now and feels like they're losing it a little bit, you know? Even if you're not in the mood, just like once a day, do it for everybody else out there who can't right now. Do it for humanity, for God's sake, right? Hump for humanity. When else in time has there ever been a time when you could say that you were humping for humanity? So do it now. Do it for everybody. If you can, in a situation you can take advantage of that, I hope you are, I hope you can, please do. And it'll be kind of funny to see how many quarantine babies there are born like maybe 9-10 months from now as well, right? And wouldn't it be kind of fun if they use like quarantine inspired names for these kids? Like, I don't know, maybe like Isolily might be a good one, right? Or like Alonia would be a really good one, right? All right, guys, that's my time. My name is Tarak Kjartanson. Take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.
Back home, I was the popular girl. I've been dating our star hockey player since I got boobs. But there's only 3 girls in Mud Puddle, Saskatchewan, and Sally stutters, and Susan smells of horse manure. I'm beginning to think I only was popular because, well, I bathe frequently, and I don't spit when I talk. But in San Francisco, everyone is way freakier and freer than me. I'm not kinky. I'm not poly. Before I moved here, I thought kink was something you get in your neck from milking the fussy cow, and Poly's a cute name for a 3-time champion show pig. The most exotic place that I've done the bouncy bounce is at the foot of the bed. Everything I know about the SEX is from watching farm animals do it. Trust me, horses are terrifying. I think I'm a prude. And I know I'm not supposed to think that because of feminism, and that I should even embrace it because slut shaming and prude shaming is all the same thing. That's what I heard this very loud, scary lady shouting one time. But I don't want to be a slut either. So that's why I want to work here, to learn from the experts. So this is not Potent the Sexual Wellness Center, but Potent the Perfumery. Oh. Whew. I was worried all the spritzing was another kink I'd have to Google. So.
Good evening. As we must practice self-isolation, replacing sex with masturbation, sex shops report there's panic buying. Off the shelves, sex toys are flying. And as with TP in the news, only buy what you can use. And as they're sold without instruction, we offer up tonight's production. So stay if you will stay, and go if you will go. The TED Talk tonight is using a dildo. Back as far as Cleopatra's palace, man has made a man-made phallus. Did Mark Antony suffer a sore or callus? Did Cleo reject his asp out of malice? Whatever the reason, it remains a mystery how far it reaches back in history. Before this model, called King Dong, before John Silver's dong was long, people took objects and one by one tried them to see which ones would fit up inside them. Now some objects sort of suggested themselves, objects found on household shelves. Veggie dicks, there's any number, the cob of corn, the rotunda cucumber, baseball bats and other lumber, a piece of pipe pinched from the plumber. But since silicone, these are hopelessly dated. You can now have a favorite cock replicated. That of a porn star, perhaps, or a friend. Some men may prefer their own in the end. Do not put light bulbs up your butt. The glass could break and you'd be cut. And you may need a doctor direly if you insert anything entirely. Now, once you've chosen a shape or size, here's a word just to the wise. Get yourself a tub or tube of a water-based and slippery lube. Do not use Crisco, and this is important. That's for dough that needs to be shortened. Use something safe made for the job, and don't be stingy, use a great glob. And take it from your sex advisor, store separate from hand sanitizer. Now, you cover the dildo from tip to base and lubricate your special place. Put it up to your bush or tush, take a deep breath and give a big push. Now perform an imitation of the act of copulation. You all know what that's about. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. And that's all there is to it. So simple anyone here could do it. So keep a dildo on the shelf. And when the urge strikes, go fuck yourself.
And those are the monologues. And thank you, Reed, for that last one. That advice of don't put a light bulb up your ass. God, I could have used that in college. Great job, everyone. That was a really fun bit of monologues, some funny, some vulnerable. Just really an awesome screening. So we've got one screening left, and that's starting at 8 o'clock. So I think you've got like enough time to put on pants. You don't have to. I'm wearing pants for the first time these last 2 days in like a month. But amazing job, everyone. You're probably wondering, what do we do about this Audience Choice Award that has been donated by Generativity Productions? Great question. As soon as I'm done here, we are going to slap on a graphic that tells you what address you are going to vote at, and you'll have exactly 5 minutes to get your Audience Choice ballots in. And then all the Audience Choice winners are going to be notified at the final screening tonight of the short films. The short film screening is a little longer than these other screenings. It's a full shorts block, so it's about 70 or 80 minutes. But we're really excited. There's been so much good content with this, and honestly, it's been so inspiring to see people create. I definitely fell in a bit of a deep despair as this whole COVID situation started to grow, and I really felt like my community was slipping away when events were getting canceled and all that jazz. And so it has been heartwarming to see so many of you supporting these artists, and so many of you putting yourself out there, because it is scary putting yourself out there. And I know we all want to be finalists and winners, and it can be tough if you don't necessarily make it to the end, but I'm so excited to show all these wonderful productions. There's so many shorts that I'm so excited in this next block. This block was amazing. So let's get voting now. And if you want to join us for the final stream of the Vancouver Quarantine Performance Project and a bit of an after party cocktails, you're going to have to join a new stream, which the link is below. You can also just search, Vancouver Quarantine Vancouver Quarantine Performance Project and find it on YouTube. But that'll be starting at exactly 8 p.m. So get voting for your Audience Choice, and we got one more screening, baby. Let's do this.